Hello and good morning. You're here with your boy Josh from Ohio Fish Rescue. Well, you guys were wanting an update on the Bellagio tanks, so I guess that's what you guys will get today. So before we get to that, I just want to admire how nice and clean this 58,000 is looking this morning. I always come out here and I'm always impressed in the morning time, but it's bright and early. It's 8 a.m. here at the rescue. But to get over into the meat and potatoes of the video, here we have the Bellagio tank stands. Last you guys knew, we were planning on setting up the tanks right against this wall, but as you can see, the stands are a bit high, so having the stands here with the tanks on top of them, it would be kind of an eyesore if you ask me. So our plan was to basically cut open this slab and drop these tanks down in 2 foot or so. So the tanks would, start about here and then they would go up to about there. They would be level with the top of the windows. So basically where you see these openings of the windows is basically where the tank would be. So we thought about this long and hard for a long while. We actually brought these sumps in. We were going to sell them at first, but we decided to go ahead and utilize these and use them for the 1,800 gallon tanks. So we got one on each stand, and then down here we have the UV lights, which we're actually going to hook up in line on the system just to add a little bit more UV protection for the whole system. But after we were thinking for quite a while, we kind of don't want to go with this idea anymore, and here's why. So if you come over here and you're looking down this aisle, for one, you don't really have much of some walk room in here, and we didn't really like the look of it. So we came up with a great idea, which is, why don't we just add on another room? I know what you guys are thinking, and that could possibly be, holy cow, where are you guys going to put another room? You guys are already, limited on space as it is. Well, we had this great idea. You see this whole 70-foot wall here? So we're thinking of pushing this whole wall that way an additional 15 to 20 foot. And then these stands would then go on the outside of the wall. It's already dropped down about 2 foot, so it would basically just be a slab on grade out there. And we would put these stands on the opposite side of the wall. This would be dual purpose. For one, we get our walkway back through here. We could go ahead and set the living room area back up, but we don't have to cut into this slab anymore either, which I was worried about, because all against this whole wall we have nothing but HVAC running all down along there. So we didn't want to have to deal with that or cut into the slab. So we think this will work better for a couple reasons here. And then if you're looking against this wall, again, we would basically take these windows here, cut them over to each beam up, and we would just basically have a cutout for the tank. Now the tank would start on this beam, go all the way down to that beam. Start there, go all the way down to that beam. So you would have these 2 beams right here in the middle, dividing the tank right in the middle. But I think that would be fine, because we have a plan here. We can cover this wall in like a fake rock or make these beams look like trees, and I think that would finish off the look pretty well, and it would look pretty amazing. So we could access the tank stands and the tanks from that side of the room. You can also see it from the pool room on this side. So you guys see the tank stands and some of the equipment we have sitting here. The tanks are still outside underneath a tarp with a heater inside of each one, which they will stay that way until we end up getting this whole extra addition built on. But as you guys know, we do have Greg Whitstock and the rest of the Aquascape team coming by to do the koi pond in the backyard. So we're going to have that to deal with here in the next couple of months. So Not really sure when we'll get around to it, but it will happen this summer, whether we like it or not, because we gonna stock them bad boys. Now, if you guys remember, one of those tanks are going to be for the African cichlids. So it's gonna be nothing but colorful little African cichlids, and I think that'll be pretty awesome here. We've got a bunch in this tank, and as they breed and the small get sucked over into the filter, you guys can see down here in the 58,000, there's just little African cichlids everywhere. Let me see if I can get some on camera. They're kind of hard to see. There goes a little yellow lab there. There's some OV peacocks. Oh, there goes some more yellow labs. There's I don't know what that one is. He's some sort of blue African cichlid there. Can't really see him. But they're basically all throughout these rocks. Everywhere you look, nothing but African cichlids. And yes, there are still convicts in here. But basically against that wall, you're going to have your jungle theme African cichlids over there. And then the tank on the right. I still can't tell you guys what we're going to stock in it because we're not exactly 100% sure, but I do have ideas for it. So you guys will find that out in due time. So you see here against the back wall, we got the 195 there. We've got the 195 on that side, and we got this 240 gallon right there in the center. So I've got some ideas for that. But we're going to go ahead and finish off this whole back wall. We're going to put in another water basin here, maybe a waterfall on this side, but we're getting ready to hook all three of these tanks up onto the system, water flowing in, overflowing out, possibly come down around here through a waterfall and back in. But this whole back wall behind the tanks here, we are planning to move all that workout equipment back there, and we're gonna put in a big hydroponic setup, and we're gonna grow, you know, tomatoes, strawberries, basil, all that good stuff back there. For one, we could take down the curtains over the windows, get natural sunlight in on them. Plus, we'll have grow lights on top of them, and we're gonna pump fish water up into it, essentially filtering out more nitrates, making our water quality even better, and we can get fresh fruits and vegetables whenever we want to come out here. So I think that's a pretty nifty idea. That'll be coming here soon. So stay tuned for that as well. But we're going to go ahead and go outside and take a look at these Bellagio tanks. All right, you see these 2 or 3 quarantine tubs that we picked up. We actually used this one the other day to go pick up some koi. It just so happens that they fit in the back of the van oh so perfectly. It was pretty awesome. But coming out here, you can see here is the Bellagio tanks. Each tank is 20 foot long, 3 foot wide, and 4 foot tall. We have them wrapped in shrink wrap, and then there's a heater inside of them. They are then wrapped in moving blankets, and then we have a tarp on them, and then we have it covered with pallets. So we have it screwed together on top and on the side, the whole front corner. So basically it has a protective shell, and then it has 2 more layers of insulating tarps to go ahead and keep the heat inside. So if these tanks got cold, then you would have a problem with the tanks, you know, shrinking. It could be potential on 20 foot long that they could shrink, you know, a ½ inch. Then they could, you know, pop apart the seams, and that would be no good for us because they would then be broken. So we have them extra insulated and the brown just to blend in. But here, this is something we ordered from Universal Rocks, and this is going to be a big project. Here in a second, I will explain to you what this is for. So coming back in here to the monster pond, you guys can see the bottom looks all nice and fancy. It's all done up in rock, but we have this, you know, white wall here, and we were like, what can we do with that? So we went ahead and got in contact with Universal Rocks, and they hooked us up, and we are going to be doing this whole wall in that universal rock that you just seen outside. So what we're going to have to do here is essentially drain this pond down. So you're going to have 3 foot down. All this will be dry, and then you'll have just basically a pond from here all the way over. So all the fish will be in tight quarters for a little while we do this work, but most likely it'll be done in a day or two, and then we'll have all these side panels done in universal rock, and it'll tie this pond back into an awesome masterpiece. So I just wanted to catch you guys up to speed on what were our plans here at the rescue. Gave you guys a little bit of an inside scoop on the whole monster pond here. We got some awesome product going to be installed in it. You've got the inside scoop on what's happening with the Bellagio tanks, and you guys also know that we're setting up a hydroponic system behind the monster pond. So I think that does it for today's video. I want to thank you guys for stopping in to take time out of your day to watch it. It really helps us out here. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And for those of you that really want to help us out, share that video. It helps us more than you could possibly believe. But as my friend would say over here, he says, stay fishy, my friends.